Hello everyone and welcome to Journey with the Colors. My name is Amanda Keller and today we are at the Indianapolis Zoo for the Dolphin in Water experience. So first we're going to do some classroom lessons on the dolphins, then do the dolphin show, and then get to actually get into the water with the dolphins and pet them and have them do some of their tricks for us. So come along with us and let's see what all happens.
Good idea, taking a video of that. These are all of our dolphins from the youngest down here to the oldest down here. So this is our pod or group of dolphins that we have here. Our favorite. You're not supposed to have favorites, but I do. Chemo is one of our originals. He is the oldest male in the pool, and you would think he would be the dominant male or the boy in charge. He is not, because his name fits him very well. His name means Joker in Hawaiian, and I feel like if he were actually a human, he'd be like a bartender on an island somewhere. No worries, man. He doesn't want the responsibility of being in charge. He'd rather just have fun and be chill and do his own thing. So while he could be dominant if he wanted to, he does not want to be, and I'll tell you who the dominant dolphin is actually his bestie, so there was no fighting for that. He actually learned how to be a big boy from Chemo. We call him Uncle Chemo and Jet. So you'll see Jet in a little bit. Chemo, you can tell him apart from the others because on the end of his rostrum or his mouth, he has a whitish coloring. That's just from, he's a boy, beating up on things and, being rough. He also, we feel like his end of his mouth here looks kind of like duck lips. So we call him Ducky, kind of just lovingly as a nickname for him. And if you get to meet him today, and they let you, if you scratch him, if he lays on his back and you scratch him, he'll squeak and his fins move. I don't know if it really tickles him or not, but it's the cutest thing in the whole wide world. He's very athletic, and he has 2 offspring in our group, which you'll meet here in a minute. So that is Chemo. And this is Miss Nova. Nova is our dominant female. This picture doesn't really do her justice. She's very dark in color. You can see it better here. Very dark in color. Her teeth are perfect. And we don't call our dolphins fat, but you know how different people have different genetics. Okay, so her family line is short and round. Okay, but she has, compared to her body size, very tiny squinty eyes. So that's another way to tell her apart.
She's the oldest, right?
She's the oldest. Okay. Yep, oldest female. She's the boss of the females as well, and she's a grandma. So her daughter actually has passed. She had a heart condition, but she does have 2 grandbabies.
Oh my gosh. And she is Chemo's best friend?
She is not Chemo's best friend. Jet is Chemo's best friend. But the females kind of do their own thing, and the males kind of do their own thing. But yeah, Chemo knows her well. They came from a separate pod in the wild, so they get along just fine. But she's more like Chemo's grandma. This is Calypso, short and round. So this is actually Nova's grandbaby, and she was born here at the Indianapolis Zoo, and she was born here when there weren't really any other young dolphins. So she is interesting because she likes to make up her own games to play. One of her favorites is she'll slide out on the front stage like this and just lay there and wait for other dolphins to knock her into the water. The dolphins used to think this was a fun thing to do, but they're getting tired of it now. So she'll sit there for a long time, and then she'll get huffy because nobody knocks her in the water, and then she'll finally roll her short, round self back in the water. But she actually has interesting tail flukes that don't separate very much, and you can't see it on here. You can kind of see it. She has like a pink, we call it a pink beard underneath her chin, so you can tell her apart. She also likes to swim around in the water with her tongue hanging out of her mouth, so you'll see that a lot. We don't know why. She's an interesting girl. But that is Miss Calypso. And this is her brother, little brother Maui. So again, Nova's grandson. She likes Calypso likes to mother him because when he was little is when their mother passed away. So Calypso kind of, even though Nova was perfectly capable of taking care of her grandbaby, Calypso was like, no, he's my brother, I'm going to take care of him. She still does, and it irritates him. So, but he's getting to be short and round just like his sister, and he pals around with his BFF Trooper right here. Those two are like a pair bond. You'll get to see him. He also has kind of a funky tail flute at the back that doesn't separate, actually overlaps a little bit. We're still learning more about him as he grows and how we can tell him apart. But that's on here as well. Different bloodline, can you tell? Different genetics, long and lean. And all of her family has an underbite. She was born here at the Indianapolis Zoo as well. That's why her name is Indy. She has very large tail flukes, but they're perfect, so you can tell her apart that way. She's probably our shyest dolphin. When she comes to meet you, sometimes she'll come close. She'll put her head up, she'll give you a little side eye, and then she'll go back under and think about it for a while, and then she might come to see you, or she might not. She's very shy. Very high energy though. If you ask a dolphin for a head shake, it's like this. She's like 10 times faster. She's on fast forward, so. But that is Miss Timothy. And this is her brother, Oren. Again, long, lean, and underbites. If you look up here, you see Oren, Hemingway, and Taz, about the same age. And all I really can say about them is teenage boys. Okay. So they're always looking for the ladies, and they beat up on each other, but just for fun. You know, it's like a bachelor pad for those guys over there. So they get into a little bit of trouble, but they have a good time. So this is Oren. And this is our dominant male, Jet. Jet is not related to anyone here in the pod. His mother and father were original group that we had out of the wild, and they have since passed. His father, when we first got the original pod, was the dominant male. So genetically, probably he has the bossy gene and can do the job of being bossy. So you'll almost always see him with Chemo. They always pal around and have fun. He has these his mom's name was Ripley because she had ripples down the side, and he has these ripple marks down the side of his back too. So that is Jet. When he was born, he was really dark. That's why they call him Jet, like Jet Black. Now he's not so much anymore.
Face shape is different. Down here in this corner picture.
Right here. Well, yeah, because he's turned, so the fat under his chin is like squished. Yeah, it does look funny there. And this is Taz. Look at his tail fluke. It's like a flower petal or something. Anyway, Taz was stranded off the coast of Sanibel Island. He's a talker. You'll hear him probably. You might hear him now. He goes ee. You'll hear him because when he was lost from his mom, that's what he did. Now it's just like biting your fingernails. It just like always makes that noise. And you'll hear dolphins squawk at him. I think they're probably telling him, shh. He'll stop for a little bit and he'll go again. He's just a talker. When he first got here, when dolphins are babies, they actually swim next to their mothers. He didn't have that, so we would get on kickboards and he would swim next to the people. So people are like his family. You can see in these pictures, and I like these pictures so you can see the rake marks, you can see teeth marks, because when he first got here, he didn't know how to be a dolphin. It's like some random person that used to be living on the streets comes into your house and has to learn how to be a part of a family. That's what happened with him. And when dolphins communicate, one of the things they'll do is they'll take their teeth and rake it down the side of another dolphin's body. And it could have many meanings. For him, it was like a spanking. No, you don't do that. That's not how you behave. It's a correction. For some dolphins, it's like a love pat. Ooh, I love you, and it's nice. But these marks don't stay on the dolphins. Dolphins slough off their outer layer of skin every 2 to 3 hours. So what you see today will be gone tomorrow. So it's not a good way to tell them apart, definitely. It takes us about a month to slough off our outer layer of skin, so that kind of tells you the difference. Dolphins always have to be streamlined so they can go fast in the water. So that means they're sloughing off. When you touch the dolphins today, you'll probably feel some of that skin sloughing off. It's not because they're sick or sunburned. It's just because that's how they are. But these marks are less on him now because he's learned how to be a part of the pod. Jet, the dominant male, took him under his wing and said, "Come on, buddy." So we put him together, and he kind of taught him the ways, and now he's good, and he's just a part of the family now. But I do like that they left these on so you could see he was learning to be a dolphin. He still kind of rots. We love him. The good thing about him coming from the wild is that he is not related to anyone in human care. So we can breed him and not worry about too many of the same genetics being in human care, which is good. This is Hemingway. He came to us from Moat Marine Lab, where there were a lot of other older dolphins, and he was a young dolphin, and he was irritating the older dolphins, and they saw we had Taz and Orn, and they were like, "Hey, do you want Hemingway? Because he's just not fitting in very well here." So here he comes to us, we take him, and he fits in perfectly, but he's bilingual. I like to say he's bilingual, because you would think everybody has the same hand signals for the same behaviors. That would make things easy, right? That's not true. Every facility has their own hand signals for every behavior. So Hemi, when he came to us, if we wanted him to smack his tail on the water, we had to jump up and down, because that's what they did at his place. We do this. Now Hemingway knows 2 hand signals for every behavior, and we're actually cross-training all the dolphins so that they know those. So it's easier when we get a dolphin from another facility that they're cross-trained on both of those, so it's easier for everybody. But he is bilingual, very smart. He knows 2 hand signals for every behavior, and he seems to be really happy here because we do have old dolphins, but we have young ones too. He's very well represented in human care. He has a lot of half siblings, half brothers, half sisters, mom and dad. So we will never breed him. We have like a dating book for dolphins where we see who's related to who and who we can have more of the genetics. You know, we just don't want to inbreed, so we have to be real. This is our baby Trooper. I will say I took this picture because photo credit right here. The reason I took this picture is because he was stranded, actually beached in Texas. And we don't know what happened to his mom. He was near death. These are actually scars from sunburn because he was beached and he got burnt so badly. And you can still see him. They don't bother him today, but you'll still see him. You can pet him and feel him. But yeah, so Trooper is obviously because he was a trooper and he survived. He came to us because Maui and Trooper are about the same age, and now they're like best friends. They hang out together all over the place. And he's just the happiest dolphin. We're still learning, but obviously this is the easiest way to tell him apart. He's still growing, so we don't know what his definite features will be yet. But again, he's not related to anyone in the pod either or in human care, so he'll be a good one for us to breed in the future.
So when telling them apart, what is your go-to? Is it like the nose, the tail?
It depends on the dolphin. It's the easiest thing that jumps out from each dolphin. Like for Chemo, definitely his rostrum is white. That's easiest to tell. Yeah. For him, definitely the birds on him. For Calypso, it's her pink beard. Like that. Yeah. The easiest thing. Everybody's like, they're just gray. How do you tell them apart? Well, you have to. It took me. I've been here 25 years, and sometimes I still get it wrong. So there won't be a quiz. There will not be a quiz on any of this, but it is fun to kind of get to know them and then be able to come back and be like, hey, I had my picture taken with them. So
How long do they actually live?
So in the wild, into their 30s is about average. In human care, we've had some live to be 55 years old. We're hoping that's what, because our dolphins, our oldest, are in their 30s now, and so they're getting old. But fish fall from the sky here, and there are no predators. This is a killer whale. There are no predators that care. If we have dolphins that stop eating for one reason or another, and that happens sometimes, you're not feeling well, we actually feed them like to keep them hydrated. So people, yeah, we put a tube down their throat. They don't have a gag reflex, so we can put a tube down their throat. We just pour the Pedialyte down, keeps them hydrated. They actually get all their water from the fish they eat. So they eat this little watery fish called capelin. It's about the size of your finger. It's really watery, and that's where they get all their water from.
So you said earlier that they're easily spooked by loud noises. What actions like would provoke a dolphin? They're not naturally super aggressive. So like
Mostly it's going to be protecting their pod.
Okay.
Would provoke them to be aggressive. But the other day we had to cancel a dolphin in water because they were doing construction, and that was noises that they weren't used to, and it scared them, and they didn't want to focus on anything but that because they were nervous about it. They weren't being mean about it, but we would try to ask them for behavior, and they were like, "Oh, something happened over there. We don't know."
Okay.
So it's just little things. It's just
Yeah.
things, weird things that just sometimes are like,
Sounds like holy.
not today, you know.
So they're super protective of each other.
Babies especially, yeah. If you see a pod or a group of dolphins in the wild and there's babies, do not get in the water with them.
Okay.
That's asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be very super protective.
So is Nova the most protective, or?
Nova is the most chill at this point because she's used to people getting in the water. She trusts the trainers. That they have the best interest of the whole pod. So if one of the trainers is letting people in, she's chill. Probably the most protective right now because she lost her mom and she feels like she has to protect her brother and all the little ones is Calypso. She'd probably be the one that'd be like up in your face. Like, stay away from my brother. Yeah. So, but they're used to this. They're not in the wild, so they're used to people getting in the water. You just jump in their home outside of here.
Yeah.
That's like a stranger coming to your home. Like you want to protect your people, and they would too. So you just kind of have to think of it from that perspective. They don't want to hurt you. They want their people's sake. Good question. All right, y'all. I know that you enjoyed this class, and you really would rather listen to me than get in the water with the dolphins. But I got to get you down to your seats for the presentation, and then we got to get you seated up. So take everything with you.
Okay, you guys, so I couldn't leave most of the sound in for the dolphin show because of the copyrights on all of the music that they were playing. So I had to mute it, and then I just added in my own music. So you won't be able to hear what they're saying, but you can watch the dolphins and see all the tricks and stuff that they did. Okay, everyone, so this was basically the males pool. This is where the males dolphins are. We did go up to the bigger pool where some of the females were and do some stuff with them too. But that was pretty much it for this. The Indianapolis Zoo is the only zoo or the only place where you can do this kind of experience in the Midwest. Otherwise, you have to go to Florida or California. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you like, or don't if you don't. Everyone have a good day. Enjoy your trips and experiences. And I hope everybody is having a good time. So we'll see you later.